Good morning from Kampala in Uganda, and welcome back to Becky's Bible Thoughts. Usually when I record these videos, I have a few notes in front of me and a bit of an idea of what I'm going to say, the message that I'm going to bring. But today I don't have any of that, and I've put aside the word I was going to bring for today because I really wanted to talk to you about my weekend, and I feel like God has something to say about that. So that's what I'm going to do today. Apologies if it's not quite so polished as normal. Um, but yes, let me share what happened. So on Friday last week, Dave, my husband, told me that he had booked a surprise weekend away for the two of us, just to a little hotel in Kampala, not too far away, but a nice change of scene and an opportunity to get away from the house where we've been a lot of the time lately with all of the lockdowns and everything. And it was lovely. We went to this beautiful place, had a lovely swimming pool. The sun was shining, as you can possibly tell from my face. And the first day and a half of that trip was absolutely delightful. We just chatted and read books and enjoyed splashing in the pool and really relaxing and unwinding. But you may remember a few weeks ago I did a video that talked about highs and lows, how often it seems to be that after we have a really good experience, that's when we then hit the dip and things seem to get worse, shall we say. And I think it was probably sometime in the early hours of Sunday morning when I woke up to find that the fish I'd eaten for dinner hadn't quite agreed with me. And so feeling rather sensitive from the slight sunburn and having to hug the toilet for most of the night, shall we say, I was feeling a little bit worse for wear. We didn't have the lovely breakfast that we should have had on Sunday morning, and instead came home as soon as Kampala's curfew lifted so that we could drive back here where I could go back to my own bed and try and catch up on a little bit of sleep. But I was feeling really rough that day, really sick. And I also then on that day had some news that a close relative of mine had passed away as well, really suddenly. And all I could say that I felt by the end of that Sunday was absolutely numb. Just completely and utterly depleted, physically and emotionally, and it was just a hard day. And yeah, by the end of it I felt empty. So often I think as Christians we talk about wanting to be authentic, and yet when it comes to these really hard times, there's this temptation to just keep it all inside and keep up the smile and keep up the pretense that everything's fine. There's nothing to worry about. It's, we have the joy of the Lord is our strength. We're going to keep going. And while that is absolutely true, we don't have to deny it when we go through times that are really tough and we are really struggling. And that's what I wanted to say today, because I think it's so important that we are authentic. Because how are we supposed to reach out to other people to tell them this good news about Christ if we just pretend that everything is perfect all of the time? It isn't. We know that we're going to have trials in this world. In fact, it's in James 1, isn't it, that we're told to consider it pure joy whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Trials are a part of life, and we don't have to deny that they exist. This verse, it doesn't say, consider the trials pure joy. I didn't have to be sat in that hotel room feeling miserable and then having to consider that a joyful experience. Where we have joy is in knowing that it's through those trials that may be horrible to go through at the time, but it's through those trials that we develop this perseverance, that we grow to be more Christ-like, that we learn to lean on him more fully. Even this morning when I was praying and just saying, God, I really, really don't feel up to doing this today. I still don't feel 100%. I still feel very weak. I'm not really in the mood to go and record these videos. And what I felt like he said to me was just lean on me and I will carry you. Not that I had to pretend that I was strong, not that I had to try and just brush it all away and pretend that it doesn't exist, but just that if I came to him and leaned on him, then he would carry me. What an absolutely beautiful picture that is. We don't need to do it all on our own. We can have these days where we just don't feel it, but we can still come to him and know that in him is strength. And as if that wasn't enough, I just want to read a passage that I read today in my daily Bible reading. And it just completely, it's a passage I've read so many times. It's a pretty famous set of verses. And yet it just blew me away this morning. This is it from Isaiah chapter 40, verses 27 to 31. O Jacob, how can you say that the Lord does not see your troubles? O Israel, how can you say God ignores your rights? Have you never heard? Have you never understood? The Lord is the everlasting God, the creator of all the earth. He never grows weak or weary. No one can measure the depths of his understanding. He gives power to the weak and strength to the powerless. Even youths will grow weak and tired, and young men will fall in exhaustion. But those who trust in the Lord will find new strength. They will soar high on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not faint. Isn't that just the most beautiful passage for when you're having one of those tough days where everything just feels so hard? How can you say that the Lord does not see your troubles? He does. He knows what you are going through right now. He knows when you're having a really, really tough day. He knows when you feel empty and depleted, when you feel like your reserves of strength are completely gone. He knows all of that. And this passage, it tells us that even young people, even those who are supposed to be full of energy, they will feel weak and tired. There will be times in their lives when they just feel exhausted. If that's true for younger people, then it's true for all of us. There will be days like that. But, and it's such a wonderful but, isn't it? Those who trust in the Lord will find new strength. Strength that we have never experienced before. Strength that takes us out of the pit of despair and lets us walk confidently, lets us run without weariness. That is the promise that I am hanging on to today. And I just wanted to encourage you with that because, you know what, this has been a hard 24 hours. It's been a hard time. I'm not going to lie about that. But God gives new strength when we are weary. And that strength is what I'm trusting in today. It's what you can trust in today and every single day. Thank you so much for joining me here today for some more thoughts from the Bible in a bit of a rambly fashion. I'll be here, as you know, Monday, Wednesdays and Fridays with new videos. So I will see you next time.